Have you ever felt like the whole world was against your dreams? That what you wanted most seemed impossible to achieve? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. This is the story of Anna, a woman who grew up hearing that her dreams were too big to come true. "You're just a dreamy girl," she was told many times. But what they didn't know was that this dreamy woman was destined to prove that the impossible can happen with determination and a lot of willpower to change her life. Today, years later, Anna is a successful businesswoman, owner of a business that transformed her life and the lives of many other people. But what makes this story even more incredible is that the son of the same woman who disbelieved in her now works for her. Yes, you heard right. This is a journey of overcoming, resilience, and twists and turns that will make you reflect on the power of your own dreams. So, if you've ever felt discredited, underestimated, or simply tired of fighting, this video is for you. Because in the end, you will realize that the biggest obstacle between you and your dreams may just be yourself. Stay until the end, because this story will inspire you to never give up. There is something almost magical about the dreams we carry when we are young. For her, it all started in a small town in the countryside, where the streets were dirt and opportunities seemed as far away as the stars in the sky. From an early age, Anna, that was her name, dreamed big, while other children played house or chased kites. She spent hours drawing up plans for the future. She wanted to build something great, something that would change lives. But not everyone saw the sparkle in her eyes. "You're just a dreamy girl," they would say, as if that were a weakness. These words came especially from Donna Lucia, her neighbor, a strict and practical woman who did not believe in dreams that did not fit into immediate reality. For her, Anna was destined to repeat the cycle of that small town. Marry young, have children, and never leave. Anna, however, felt something different inside her. It was like a flame that no one could put out, no matter how much they tried to throw cold water on it. Even so, those words echoed in her mind, especially on nights when the silence seemed to amplify her doubts. Could she really do it? Or was she just another frustrated dreamer? But fate has curious ways of teaching us. Little by little, Anna began to realize that perhaps those criticisms were not just obstacles in her path, but rather disguised steps. But before she could find out, she would have to face something even bigger, something that would test the depths of her determination. Anna was only 23 years old when life decided to test her for the first time. Her father, the man who had always encouraged her to dream big, suffered an accident at work. He was a bricklayer, and a fall from the scaffolding left him unable to support his family. Suddenly, that simple house that already seemed small became even more cramped, not only because of the old furniture, but because of the weight of fear and uncertainty. It was then that Donna Lucia appeared again, like an unwanted shadow. "I warned you," she said, with that tone of someone who feels victorious for being right. "This business of dreaming big only brings disappointment. Her place is here, helping her mother at the market." Anna listened silently, but each word felt like a knife in her chest. It was as if the whole world was conspiring to convince her that her dreams were futile. For weeks, she worked at her mother's market, carrying boxes of fruit and serving customers with a forced smile. But at night, when everyone was asleep, she hid under the blanket with a flashlight, reading books about entrepreneurship and business. It was her silent way of resisting, of keeping the flame alive even when everything seemed lost. However, something inside her began to change. The pain of that situation was not only physical, but also emotional. She felt that she was betraying herself by accepting that limited life. And it was at that point that something extraordinary happened. Something that made her realize that perhaps there was another way out. It was on a gray afternoon, while she was tidying the shelves at the market, that Anna met So Xuom. He was a different customer from the others, not only because he bought exotic fruits that no one else in the city had tried, but because he had a special sparkle in his eyes, as if he carried secrets from distant worlds. That afternoon, he noticed the book that Anna was hiding under the counter. "What are you reading?" he asked with genuine curiosity. Anna hesitated for a moment, but something in the soft tone of his voice made her trust him. She showed him the book, Entrepreneurship for Beginners. He smiled, as if he already knew what she was thinking. "That's a good start," he said, before telling his own story. So Xuom had built a small logistics company years ago, starting with little more than an old truck. He talked about the setbacks, the people who doubted him, and how he kept going anyway. "You know, Anna," he said, "the biggest obstacle is not the lack of resources, but the lack of faith in yourself. Believe in your dream, even when no one else does." Those words echoed deep inside her. It was as if a secret door had opened in her mind, revealing a path she had never considered before. For the first time in months, Anna felt something beyond the weight of criticism and hardship. She felt hope. But at the same time, she knew that this was just the beginning, and that even greater challenges lay ahead. That conversation with So Xuom was etched in Anna's mind like an indelible mark. That night, she couldn't sleep. His words kept spinning in her head like a mantra. Believe in your dream, even when no one else does. She knew she couldn't stay still, waiting for things to change on their own. It was time to make a decision. The next morning, Anna went to the market with a clear idea in mind. She began to observe the customers with different eyes, mentally noting what they bought, what they asked, and even what they complained about. She realized that many of them were looking for products that were not easy to find in the city: spices, special grains, different seasonings. What if she could bring these items to them? With the little money she had saved from helping her mother, Anna decided to take a risk. She bought some basic products and began offering them to the market customers, explaining that she could order more if they were interested. At first, people were suspicious. "That's a big city thing," they said, shaking their heads. But Anna didn't give up. She kept offering, listening, adjusting. It was then that something unexpected happened. A customer, Donna Marta, asked to order a package of cinnamon sticks that she hadn't found in years. When Anna handed over the product, she saw something in the woman's eyes that she had never seen before. Genuine gratitude. "You have a knack for this," Donna Marta said, smiling. Those words were like a balm for Anna, who felt, for the first time, that she was on the right path. But she knew that there was still a long way to go, and that the next step would require even greater courage. With the small success of the orders at the market, Anna felt that she was ready to take a bigger step. But the road to get there would not be easy. To expand her business, she would need capital, something that simply did not exist in that humble home. It was then that she made a decision that would change her life. She started working 2 jobs simultaneously. During the day, she continued to help her mother at the market, carrying boxes and serving customers. At night, she went to a snack bar. At the bus station, where she served coffee and sandwiches to truck drivers until the early hours of the morning. It was exhausting, both physically and emotionally. There were nights when she would come home so tired that she could barely take off her shoes before falling into bed. And yet, even in the most difficult moments, she never lost sight of why. She was working so hard, but the sacrifice wasn't just hers. Her mother, Donna Maria, was beginning to notice the dark circles under her daughter's eyes and her absence from home. One night, after a long shift at the diner, Anna found her mother, sitting at the kitchen table waiting for her. "Daughter, how long are you going to kill yourself working like this?" Donna Maria asked, with tears in her eyes. Anna held her mother's hands and for the first time spoke openly about her dream. "Mom, I know it's hard, but I have to try. I can't live a life that isn't mine." That conversation was a turning point. Donna Maria didn't fully understand her daughter's plan, but she decided to support her. Still, Anna knew that the real test was yet to come. She had to prove not only to others, but mainly to herself, that all that effort would be worth it. And it was at that moment that she realized that the next obstacle would be even more personal and painful. Anna's business began to grow slowly but steadily. She already had a list of loyal customers and had even managed to rent a small space in the city center to store the products she brought from other regions. But, as much as things were improving, there was something, or someone, that still loomed over her like a One morning, while Anna was organizing the shelves of her modest stock, she heard a knock on the door. When she opened it, there she was, Donna Lucia, with that stern look that Anna knew so well. "So this is where you're wasting your time?" she said, with a tone of disapproval that cut like a knife. "You keep dreaming too big. This is not going to amount to anything." The words echoed inside Anna like thunder. For a moment, she felt that old feeling of doubt growing in her chest. Was Donna Lucia right? Was it all just an illusion? But then, something different happened. Instead of lowering her head, as she had always done in the past, Anna took a deep breath and looked the woman in the eye. "I know that common sense says that people like me shouldn't dream," Anna said, with a calmness that surprised even herself. "But I'd rather try and fail than never try and regret it for the rest of my life." The words came out firmly, loaded, with all the pain, effort, and determination that she had been accumulating over the years. It was as if, at that moment, she finally released something that had held her back since she was a teenager. Donna Lucia didn't answer. She just shook her head and walked away, leaving Anna alone with her thoughts. But that conversation marked a turning point. Anna realized that even if Donna Lucia never believed in her, that didn't matter anymore. What really mattered was what she believed about herself. And now, with this new conviction, she was ready to face the greatest challenge of all. One that would change her path forever. Little by little, Anna's small business began to attract attention beyond the city. One day, while organizing the week's orders, she received an unexpected call. It was a representative from a large supermarket chain in the capital, interested in learning more about the products she offered. "We're looking for local suppliers who bring something different," he said on the phone. "We'd like to schedule a meeting with you." Anna's heart raced. This was the chance she had been waiting for years. But at the same time, she knew it wouldn't be easy. To impress the executives, she would need to present something far beyond what she had done so far. And that meant investing everything she had saved, and maybe even more. In the days leading up to the meeting, Anna worked like never before. She spent sleepless nights researching market trends, creating attractive packaging, and refining her presentation. She wanted to showcase not only her products, but also her vision. The idea that big dreams can be born in small places. However, as she prepared, a sense of fear grew inside her. What if she failed? What if that was her only chance and she blew it? But deep down, Anna knew that the biggest risk wasn't trying and failing. It was letting fear stop her from trying. So, with shaking hands and a heart full of hope, she boarded the bus to the capital, taking with her not only her products, but also all the dreams she had carried since she was a little girl. And when she entered the conference room, she knew that this was the moment that would define her future. Or so she thought. The conference room was silent, except for the soft hum of the air conditioning. Anna sat at a table, surrounded by men, and women dressed in elegant suits as she projected her ideas onto a large screen. She spoke with a passion that surprised even her, explaining how her business wasn't just about products, but about connecting people to something bigger, to their traditions, to their memories, to the flavors that reminded them of home. When she finished her presentation, there was a moment of silence that seemed to last an eternity. Anna held her breath, waiting for the answer. It was then that the chain's director stood up and began to applaud. "This is exactly what we were looking for," he said with a sincere smile. "You have something special here." At that moment, Anna felt as if the weight of all her years of struggle had been lifted from her shoulders. The chain had decided to sign a contract with her, offering an initial order so large that it would completely change her life. But what really moved her was the realization that this victory was not just hers. It belonged to all the people who had ever doubted her and all the dreams she had refused to give up. Back in her city, Anna began to expand her business quickly. She hired employees, bought new equipment, and even opened a small physical store. And it was during the opening of this store that something unexpected happened. As she was greeting customers in the entrance line, she saw a familiar face. It was João Pedro, Dona Lucia's son. He was there to hand out resumes. When Anna saw João Pedro in the line with her resume in his hands, time seemed to stop for a moment. He was the image of the woman who had so often tried to snuff out her dreams. For a brief moment, she felt a mixture of surprise, pride, and even a touch of poetic justice. But then, something deeper emerged inside her. Compassion. João Pedro seemed nervous, as if he knew this meeting could be awkward. "I know my mother hasn't been very kind to you in the past," he said hesitantly, "but I really need a chance, and I heard your company is growing." Anna stared at him for a few seconds, seeing not only Dona Lucia's son, but also a young man trying to find his place in the world, just as she had done years before. Without hesitation, she extended her hand. "Welcome," she said with a sincere smile. "Here, Everyone has the chance to show what they're capable of. By hiring João Pedro, Ana wasn't just proving a point or showing that she had won. She was choosing to forgive. Choosing to transform the pain of the past into something greater, into a life lesson that could inspire others. Over the following months, she watched João Pedro work hard, learning and growing under her leadership. And, in moments of informal conversation, they talked about dreams, overcoming obstacles, and the weight of words that we carry with us. Ana realized that, by giving Dona Lucia's son a chance, she was not only closing a cycle, she was opening doors to new stories of transformation. But above all, that moment brought Ana a deep certainty. The dreams that seem impossible are often the ones that are most worthwhile. And now, as she looks to the future, she knows that there is still much more to achieve and to teach. Ana could have given up at many points in her journey, when the criticism seemed unbearable, when physical and emotional exhaustion threatened to bring her down, or when the fear of failure screamed louder than hope. But she chose to move forward. And do you know why? Because deep down, Ana knew that the dreams that are worth pursuing are those that require fighting. And today, not only has she earned her place in the sun, but she has also become a living example that we should never underestimate the power of believing in ourselves. Now I ask you, how many times have you heard someone say that your plans were impossible? How many times have you doubted yourself? The truth is that we all carry a flame within us, that spark of something greater that we want to achieve. What Ana teaches us is that even when the world tries to extinguish that flame, it is up to us to protect it and feed it with faith, courage, and determination. So, I want you to stop for a moment and think, what is your dream? What are you willing to do to make it come true? If Ana managed to overcome all the barriers and prove that she was much more than what they said, why can't you do the same? Leave your story or just a thought about this video in the comments, and if it touched your heart, share it with someone who needs this message today. Oh, and before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive more stories like this. Because, after all, whoever tells a story changes a life, and whoever listens can find the strength to change their own.